This Straight Talk Wireless 500 and bonus IndyCar Picks 2026 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Make real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in all 50 states, and you get $20 free with promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, promo code SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and we have reached Thursday, which means it's time to cover the DFS portion for the Cup race this weekend. And, Cody, as we started to do now, because we just can't get enough of talking racing, we're tossing in some open wheel stuff. We're going to end the show with some of our favorite IndyCar picks because guess what, Cody? They are next door neighbors this weekend as IndyCar and NASCAR team up for a fun weekend in Phoenix.
Yeah, back-to-back weekends of the two series crossing over. You love that. Last week, the trucks got to play, kind of the undercard to IndyCar at St. Pete. This week, IndyCar is coming to one of our places, Phoenix Raceway, which they've been to before, but not since 2018. And they're going to kind of play the undercard with us. Doubleheader on Saturday with Xfinity. O'Reilly, I guess, is damn it. Almost got away with it. But yeah, no, it's going to be a really fun week and looking forward to more racing is always good. More racing is always better. There was kind of a deal with Pato O'Ward. He made a comment this past week in a Bob Pockrass video. Like, I feel like we're always second fiddle to them, which was kind of weird to make last week because Indy was first fiddle at St. Pete and NASCAR was playing the second fiddle with Craftsman Trucks. But, then he retweeted or whatever Jeff Gluck's numbers for the TV stuff. And he's like, well, I guess I'm glad we'll be there or something because, NASCAR was pulling 3 times as many viewers as IndyCar last week did. So if you're listening to this, make sure you watch the IndyCar race because it's going to be exciting and fun and fastest racing on the planet. It's their tagline. You're going to notice the difference between them and the Cup cars at Phoenix this weekend.
1,000% you're gonna and honestly too, just the way these cars move and the way they're able to go. I mean, it just the kind of racing you're gonna see at Phoenix. I'm curious though, because as we've seen in NASCAR several times over with these guys fanning out, we talked about it a little bit, I think a couple days ago. I'm not sure if we talked about it yesterday, but when these guys fan out on the back stretch, the dog leg, right, or the front stretch, I suppose it is, and these guys start fanning out, I wonder if IndyCar is going to try to make that same move because I guarantee you that is a dangerous move, not just for stock cars, but I can only imagine how dangerous that would be for open wheel as far as the aerodynamics of their cars and how light they are compared to NASCAR. It scares me.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right, Marcus checking in saying hello first. He is always and wants to know what everyone's pick is at Phoenix, predicting Christopher Bell to win at Phoenix because he's won the last 2 spring Phoenix Cup races here. Cody's got him on the betting episode, so make sure you go listen to his case for him. We are definitely high on him, and of course we're high on him all weekend long. Rye Cape, what's good, fellas? What's good? Rye Cape, good to see you, my friend.
Always good to see you, pal.
Always fantastic. All right, before we get to anything more, because there's actually a pretty big piece of news to come out of this last couple of 24 hours. Let me tell you that March is here. We are deep in March already, and SGPN is giving away $25,000 in Survivor Madness. It's a winner take all. One person is going to take home $25,000 guaranteed. That's life-changing money. Hopefully it's yours, and it's only yours if you go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. And if you need a splash, use promo code SGPN. You're going to play $5, get $50 in bonus entries. How can you not want to win $25,000 for pretty much no effort other than registering for it?
That sounds like a pretty good deal to me, Rod. I think I'll have to look into that.
I'll have to look in that as well. All right. Like I said, big news coming out of the Hendrick Motorsports camp. The number 48 machine will not be piloted by Alex Bowman because Vertigo is not just a song by U2. It is indeed a symptom of a pretty bad condition that makes it difficult to drive a race car. I'm assuming. I've never done it before, Cody, but I'm assuming it's pretty difficult.
Yes, I would guess that it does make it difficult. So, yeah, unfortunately, Alex Bowman, we saw him get taken out of the car and make that decision to get out last week. Myatt Snyder was there, jumped in and finished the race for him. But he's been diagnosed with vertigo this week and not cleared to race this weekend at Phoenix. So he will not be racing. Anthony Alfredo, a.k.a. Slow Pasta, he's going to jump into that car and pilot that. He is the sim driver for Hendrick, so he does a lot of work. Limited in his Cup Series starts, kind of. He's obviously been doing the beard stuff on the super speedways, but I think he's only got one other start for BJ McLeod on a traditional track, oval track, in the next era, but does all the sim work for Hendrick, which is very important. They're one of the best, if not the best team in the garage, right? So their sim stuff is going to be top notch. So he does that. He's prepared. He is their, guy that is the relief guy for them. And if they have a scheduled, obviously he was not at COTA last week at that point in time, must have already left, but he's the scheduled guy to make relief starts if needed. So he'll be stepping in for Alex Bowman in the 48 this week. Obviously, hopefully, Alex will be able to return at Las Vegas next week. I don't know actually anything about vertigo or how long it might last, what they can do to help fix it or whatever that takes. So, obviously thinking about Alex and hopefully be able to get healed up from that and back to racing sooner rather than later.
Yeah, more often than not, vertigo, it's obviously the disorientation and not being able to find your bearings on a constant basis. It's a lot of neuro stuff and a lot of
it doesn't stem from inner ear or something, and then ears, they're actually on your head if you didn't know, and your head, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong up there, Rod. I've been told.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that's already wrong in mine, so I don't know, the vertigo is one of them, but if it is, I'm probably not going to be surprised. But yeah, a lot of times you get it from planes and all kinds of other, like if you're up there too long or if you're at sea too long or, heights will exacerbate it. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that happen with it. But obviously best thoughts out to Alex Bowman. How much though, Cody, did it break your heart that they did not call Carson Hocevar out of the 77 car and put somebody in the 77?
Well, we did see that a couple of years ago and really this was the cause of Hocevar getting his big break. If you remember, Chase, was it? Yeah, it was during Chase Elliott, after his broken leg, they put Corey LaJoie in the 9 car for one race at Gateway, similar track to Phoenix, by the way. Carson steps in and was tearing it up in the 7, blew a brake rotor and ended up in the fence, unfortunately, but that's what really kind of brought it in. And it was like, okay, here we go. Like maybe this kid's got something. And obviously now he's in the Cup Series. So, yeah, too bad he didn't get the call to drive the 48 yet, but I could see how you wouldn't want to hurt Alex's feelings by putting the future driver of that car in the car already. So, if you do remember, Rod, I don't want to dance on anybody's grave, but I did leave Alex Bowman out of my chase this year, which wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't like on purpose. Like I didn't exclude him on purpose, but I got done and realized I didn't have him in there and I didn't take anybody out to put him in. So I don't know. Maybe that's worked out. But, one thing that's sort of notable, this is the, since 2022, since the next gen era of 5 seasons that Alex Bowman is not going to complete all 36 races. He had concussion issues in 2022 when they were still figuring out this car. broke his back or the fractured vertebra in 23 from the sprint car wreck. And then obviously this year with the vertigo thing. So I don't know. Availability is the best ability. Obviously health is most important. And, it's good nowadays that we're not Ricky Rudd taping our eyes open and going out and running a race when we shouldn't be health-wise. But Bowman, not available as much as you'd like for him to be if you want to compete for championships.
Yeah, and before anybody asks anything, even if the book's open with any sort of Alfredo stuff, not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Feel bad for Alex, Laura does. It's usually treated with antihistamines in her ear, actually. So there it is. Thank you, Laura. I definitely, it's not fun to have. Captain Truestroke saying happy ARCA Day, gents. Yeah, it is.
Happy ARCA, yeah. I think they're on track right now, actually. Qualifying is probably going on about this time. So that's exciting.
Good stuff. All right, well, let's set this race up before we head to break and come back with our picks. So it is, of course, the 2026 Straight Talk Wireless 500. We are set for 312 laps around this 1 mile paved track for 312 miles. I mean, that's a lot of laps. So there's definitely some laps to be led in this instance, and there will definitely be some leaders that will lead many laps. And so the identifying those are going to be clutch, and finding the folks that are going to brave the dog leg and try to move up spots is yet another.
Yeah, absolutely. 312 laps. I mean, when you look at the set we've had so far for DFS tracks and for tracks this season, Daytona, you can't really count on a lap leader. Atlanta, you can't really count on a lap leader. Last week, yes, you're looking for the guy that's the lap leader. We thought it was going to be SVG. Clearly it wasn't, and ends up being Reddick of all people. But, then this week is the first time where we actually have a legit, this is a lot of laps to be led out there, a lot of fast laps. Those two things will coincide. It's going to be important to hit your dominator or dominators at the top, depending on how many people kind of take the bull and run with it.
Indeed. So, all right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll set up our DFS picks, although slow roll. Slow pasta.
He did catch it. I said slow pasta. Wow, Cody's turned on fast pasta as the love affair over. The last, I'd like to give second chances. Sometimes stuff goes wrong in the kitchen. The food doesn't come out well. My pasta's been burnt the last couple times I've ordered it, so I'm avoiding the pasta and mostly the berries for a while.
Boy, you're having a tough time at the restaurant, aren't you? You're like, fine.
It's we got to work around the pasta and berry allergies.
give me a burger and we'll just call it good. So.
Well, I do live in Nebraska, so it makes sense.
That's true. That's true. Oh man, now I want a good burger. Although I'm gonna have pasta tonight. We're gonna have tortellini at the house, so maybe my pasta will be
hungry,
good.
Rod. It's almost dinner time here. I know you just got done with lunch, but I'm getting hungry.
Well, grab yourself a snack while I tell you about our friends over at Kalshi. Kalshi, a real money prediction market, legal in all 50 states. You could probably even trade on whether or not Cody's going to have a snack during this break, and we'll figure it out when we get back. Kalshi's got a ton of trading options for your favorite sports. Kalshi now has combos. Combine 2 or more predictions to increase your payouts with Kalshi. You can trade on anything you can think of, even esports. I love me a good Call of Duty League trading option. How about the FaZe Vegas taking on the Los Angeles Thieves? If you believe that FaZe Vegas can pull off the upset over the LA Thieves, that $20 that we're going to give you free will turn into $59 once that happens later on this week. So get in on the action. New Kalshi customers get $20 when they use promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. Rhythm's been on a heater for college and NBA picks. It's super easy to sign up, run predictions off the house model, or you can make your own and play with those sliders. Rhythm actually works well with Kalshi too, so make sure you're doubling up on that. And if you're looking to go premium, now is a fantastic time. Use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off of your first month. Go download Rhythm. Use promo code SGPN25. The public wants to know, Cody, did you snack while we were on break?
I always snack, right? I'm like Troy Polamalu, never not snacking. His is never not working. Mine's never not snacking.
I didn't ask you if you were a snack, Cody. I said, were you snacking?
Answer would have been much different then, Rod.
God, I love making my kids cringe when I use words like that. Almost 50-year-olds are not supposed to do that. So.
Oh, I love it. I was watching something. My daughter and I were watching something the other day that was made like 13 years ago. So, super old in her eyes because that's how old she is, close anyways. And they used a word and she goes, they said that back then? I'm like, that's not that long ago. Like, like it's not the dark ages. Jesus, kid.
No, it's not as if cringe.
I thought that was a cool word now. I don't even remember what the word was, but it was like, yeah, we've always said that. You guys didn't figure that out on your own.
It's so crazy what these kids know and don't know nowadays. But what's hella cool, Cody, is going over DFS bets or DFS picks for this race. And as we always do, we'll give you our high price drivers, our mid-tier drivers, and our value drivers for the slate. And then again, like we said, after everything's said and done, we'll throw in some IndyCar bets to make up the rest of the show. But Cody, let's start off with some high price drivers to start the card out.
Yeah, one more note. Alex Bowman obviously is not going to be, he won't work in DFS, so you can't play him. DraftKings has already marked him as out, so you will not have an option to do that. And they've added Anthony Alfredo at $6,500 to the pool, so something to keep in mind, especially if he doesn't qualify well. He is going to be in the 48 car, so I wouldn't expect an Alex Bowman level performance, although that's not been great lately. But something to keep in mind. And then for whatever other fantasy games you might play in, make sure you don't pick Alex Bowman. Again, look at your rules, right? Maybe you get the 48 car, but just wanted to toss that out there, Rod. So, Mr. Pasta, I will call him from now on. He is available in the pool. So, all right, Rod, we're going to go towards the top of the board. And, I was kind of surprised when I opened this up and took a look. You got Blaney at 11-2. That makes a lot of sense at the top. Then it's Hamlin. Then it's Byron. Then it's Larson. The fifth guy on the board, $1,000 cheaper than Ryan Blaney, is Christopher Bell at $10,200. Marcus, as you know, I'm with you this week, buddy, on Christopher Bell. He has won here the last two spring races. And I was looking at Ryan over at iFantasy Races. He always publishes the scores from previous races at this track. You look back to last spring, and it was Christopher Bell, 97 points that day. Started in 11th, finished in first, 105 of the 312 laps. He led 35 fastest laps, so a really, really solid day for Mr. Bell. And then you go back and you look, and he's just been pretty lights out here, really, to be honest with you. Led the 105 laps last year. Like I said, 2024, he led 50 laps and won that race as well. And then in the fall of 24, he led 143 laps here. Only finished in fifth place, but 143 laps, even with the fifth place finish, you will take that because that is a strong day. Second in driver rating. So again, wintherace.info, great partner of ours. Make sure you check them out. He's second in the driver rating if you lump in all five of the similar tracks to Phoenix included, and then Gateway, Iowa, Richmond, New Hampshire, those five tracks, you lump them all in, and he has been the second best driver rating to Ryan Blaney, the most expensive guy on there in short tracks. New Hampshire, he's been amazing there. Won two of the last four, leading 149 in one of those races. Led 80 laps at Gateway 2 years ago. Won both stages in that one. Led 122 laps at Richmond. Win the race. He led a bunch of laps in that one. Had a great driver rating there as well. So, yeah, I'm all about Christopher Bell this weekend. He's a guy you think of when you come to short flat tracks anyways. The Gibbs cars in particular, Bell in particular, and he's been really damn good in this race in particular the last 2 years as well. Love to see all of that. So give me Christopher Bell, top of the board, 10,200.
It's hard to open the research for Phoenix and not be enamored with Christopher Bell as far as all of the numbers are concerned. Because a lot of times, we'll go into this and we'll open the research and see where it takes us and then start formulating things like that. And a name like Christopher Bell, like you said, just jumps right off the page, as does my guy. And yeah, he's expensive. He's $10,000, $10,700, but it's William Byron. William Byron is just absolutely crushed in DFS on this track in particular. It doesn't matter whether it's the spring, whether it's the fall. Last fall, he did finish with the 35th most fantasy points with only 3.5 fantasy points on the day. However, our good friends over at iFantasy Race have the asterisk report. And guess what? William Byron is on that asterisk report for the fall of 2025. William Byron had the second best car last fall at Phoenix, but he finished a misleading 33rd late in the race on lap 308 while running in second. Byron had a sudden flat tire. You can't control that. slammed into the wall hard. And in the race, Byron was tied for the second best total speed ranking, had the second best average running position, and led the most laps, or the second most laps rather, 52. So that he was on to a really good day in DFS purposes that day, but sudden flat tires, can't really control that. But in the spring race, he scored you 61.85 fantasy points, started on the pole, finished sixth, had 18 fast laps, led 83 laps in that race. Going back to the 2024 fall race, William Byron scored you the sixth most fantasy points in that race, 57.5 to be exact. Started eighth, finished third, had 13 fast laps, led 19 laps. Go back to the spring of 2024, where William Byron did not do quite as well in that race. Unfortunately got you 17.85 points in that one. Started fifth, finished 18th. But the year before that, or the fall of 2023, he had the second most points, 72 in that race. Led 95 laps, started first, finished fourth. And then the spring of 2023, 84.15 points, started third, finished first, had 64 laps, led in that one. That's a lot of big numbers for a guy that's even $10,000. If I'm getting 60 points out of him, if I'm getting 50 points out of him, hell, I'll be happy with that too. But William Byron definitely needs another good week after he has to shake off Coda. In other words, he just really has to shake off last week and being in competition for a really good finish, only to watch it slip away. Now he's back on an oval in which he's been very good at the last few seasons. Yeah, I definitely like him at $10,700 because, like you said, Blaney's of the world, they're super expensive this week, and you got to take your savings where you can. Cody's muted himself. He doesn't want to talk about William Byron.
First time, long time. I sounded like all our callers on the recap show last week. Couldn't hear me. Too soon. Sorry. But I don't remember what I was going to say now. Byron, though, I do like as a play. It's going to be interesting figuring out the top of the board because, as you look through, there is a lot of good plays at the top. Blaney obviously is very good here. Just made the case for Bell. Hamlin's been good here. Larson's been good here. Reddick, Briscoe, Byron. I mean, I want a piece of all of those guys. So building lineups this week is going to be a lot of fun. Bell and Blaney, I think, are going to be my two main guys, but they're going to be the most popular too. So Byron's a good way to kind of set yourself apart a little bit. And it seems to me when Byron has his dominant days, he really has dominant days, and he can go out there and rack up the points quickly. So I do not mind the play at all.
Indeed. All right, we're taking our antihistamine for this next one because we're allergic, and we're going to try to curb the allergies. But Cody, where are we going for your first mid-tier driver?
Well, yes, Rod. Josh Berry has been an interesting case because I wasn't very big on him in Xfinity when he raced in Xfinity. You talk about him a lot. I could never get on board. I wasn't really a fan. I didn't know that he deserved to be in the Cup Series, whatever. He comes in. Then he wins Las Vegas last year. Then I go to the Kansas Spring Race, and I was there in person. He had the fastest car. I mean, that car was a hot rod, as Clint Boyer would tell you, and it truly was. And so I started betting on him left and right, and I could just never. Every time I bet on him, something went wrong. He burned me. So I was kind of got allergic to berries a little bit, but the more and more I look at things this week, the more and more I just get prepared for this weekend. I don't think we can keep leaving Barry off, and so I'm going to play him as my mid-tier guy here, $7,800. You look, and this is his style of track, and he really does show up, and he really is good on these types of tracks. Last year in the Wood Brothers car here, a 7th-place finish and a 4th-place finish. That's two really good runs. You go to New Hampshire in the 2 years there, for Stuart Haas and for Wood Brothers, a 2nd and a 3rd-place finish. That's pretty damn good, right? The 2 years at Iowa. And again, this is going from a closing Stuart Haas team as a rookie and then coming to Wood Brothers for his first year. Now he's actually got a 2nd year of continuity, which I think should help him. Iowa, though, 7th and 13th. Two good runs there. Richmond, the 4 starts he's had there. So actually, he's had 5 starts there. His first start was in the 9 car filling him for Chase Elliott, where he finished in 2nd place. There was some strategy at the end that got him there, but hey, once he got up there, he actually held that position for the last 50 laps of the race or whatever it was, got the 2nd place. But in his seats, 8th, or 11th, 14th, and 8th, I guess. So it is 4 races total. Sorry, I did have the 2nd written down there. But in the 4 starts, all pretty good runs. So he's been good. Last year at this race, he started in 4th, and so you look at that and you're like, boy, it might be hard for him to be able to really capitalize and be good. But he was the 13th best driver scoring, according to iFantasy Race over there, 40.9 points on the day. For the price you get him at, that's pretty solid. He started in fourth. He finished in fourth, just kind of held par throughout the day. And it ends up being a pretty solid day at $7,800. So while, I looked at the top 10 earlier this week, it's only plus 120 or something like that. It wasn't enough for me to really get invested in it. But he's a guy that I thought we couldn't go through this weekend without talking about, because he really has shown up on the short, flat tracks. That's his bread and butter. That's what he grew up on, racing the late models and doing that thing. So I will, I'll take that antihistamine, try these berries, and I'll let you know if they're poisonous or not on the recap show.
Well, if you're on the recap show, you may have vertigo from being too berry filled to get on there. So
look at that, tying
well,
everything all together.
That's kind of what I've done my entire life. But speaking of tying things together, I have nothing to tie this one to anything other than the fact that this guy is a straight GPP play, and you should probably use him very cautiously and deploy him in lineups where you are okay if you don't get the full capacity out of Michael McDowell. If you believe Cody and Spire has all the speed in the world faster than anybody else, then Michael McDowell is driving one of those rocket ships. And for $6,100, I will 1000% take an opportunity to capitalize on that speed. Michael McDowell last fall got you 65 points in the race at Phoenix, started 37th and finished 8th. Just a fantastic day. Michael McDowell got you 33 or the 33rd most points in the race in 2025 in the spring at minus 9.95 in that race. Michael McDowell got you the 21st most points at 23.45. But here's the thing, even almost 24 points at $6,000 is not a complete and total waste of money. You would like more out of them, but at least in a GPP, if you're taking big swings, that's not a bad swing to take. However, you'd much prefer the 37.45 points that Michael McDowell got you in the spring of 2024 in that race. And then in the fall of 2023, Michael McDowell got you 45 points in that race, 8th place or 8th overall in terms of fantasy points scored, and then 24 points in the spring of 2023. So I'll tell you right now that Michael McDowell is, like I said, just a GPP dart throw, but at $6,100, one that I think you can stomach, because if you do that, you can put a Byron and a Bell in your lineup and still have a little salary relief to get down to the bottom, because Cody and I have some severe savings for you down at the bottom, and you can be able to take a swing like that on a Michael McDowell, because he could wind up having you a 45-point day, which is really good if you're paying for a guy that should only get you 25, 26, 27 points in there. So like I said, Michael McDowell, almost a lot like Josh Berry for Cody. This is one where I'm kind of holding my nose and hoping for the best, but I'm not overly exposing myself just in case he comes out and doesn't perform well for us.
Yeah, I like this play as well. He's another guy that, as you're studying that and looking at things, you're like, oh, McDowell's actually been pretty good here. Can you find a way to bet on him? Couldn't find a way to work it in there. I know some others on the Discord were on his top 10, maybe betting that. So certainly you could do that. But I think this is a good way to get in on him, is he's got some upside here at a track that he's been pretty solid at. So, I like the McDowell play. And again, cheap in a week when Bell, Byron, Blaney, all these guys, all the B's, Barry, McDowell. I don't know. I was just trying to to throw a B in there, but I mean, when you're trying to pay up for a lot of these guys, it's a great way to save in a low mid-tier guy that allows you the opportunity to spend on some of the bigger guys and has that possibility where he's brought you some good returns before.
Indeed. All right. Well, then let's save them the most money that we can save them at the bottom of the board, Cody. Who are our first low-tier drivers?
Yeah, I'd like to go about almost as far down, step up above Ware and Herbst for you, but I'm going to go with Ty Dillon, $5,000. Talked about him on the betting episode and the upside he has. Gave out the 18-1 for him to finish inside of the top 10 because he's been pretty good on this track. You look back again at last spring's DFS points scored there, and he ended up having 36.45. It's a pretty solid day. Again, 15th most points on the day. and you're getting him as the third cheapest driver here, so you can see how the math would make that a pretty good day. But for whatever reason, he's been pretty solid in the spring races quite often. The 16th place last year, some of that was due to the option tire strategy, yes, but he still ended up, I think it was, did he spin out late or got a speeding? There was something late that cost him a chance of maybe even winning that race because he had such a tire advantage. But holds on for 16th place, a good finish. 15th place here in the spring of 2022. And then even in the old car, in much worse cars in the Germain Racing, 15th in the spring of 20, 15th in the spring of 19, top 16, 4 of his 8 starts for Germain. Did it with Stuart Haas as well when he was filling in for an injured Tony Stewart. He's, for whatever reason, been really good at this track. As we get through the season more, I'm going to be less and less interested in Dylan and AJ because of the non-Chevy relationship that they now have with Dodge stepping in and all that. But I'm less concerned about it, first of all, early in the season, and at a track like this where, sure, you still want all the stuff you can get, obviously, but he's been very good here throughout many situations, different cars, worse cars, and just keeps popping up. And, you know, he's probably not going to start well, which is ideal, and has some upside for some top 15 finishes that he's been getting done. So give me Tyrone Dillon at a nice cheap $5,000.
I know they haven't officially talked about this, at least not that I've seen anyways, but I wonder how long it is until Dodge decides they want to get into the Cup Series and turns Kaulig into a straight Dodge.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't seen any official announcements, and there's a rule where they have to technically declare like 2 years before, but they could have already told NASCAR, and they just haven't announced it yet, maybe too. So to me, though, it sounds like Kaulig doesn't really have a Chevy relationship anymore. I believe they're just operating as an independent team, and you have to have a logo slapped on there. So they were Chevy, so they've just left it on there. But I don't think they actually are even a Chevy partner anymore. So, and Dodge had already said before they were helping them with this program. So they're getting the info from Dodge, even though Dodge apparently doesn't have a simulator, whatever. But yeah, so that whole thing is interesting. And I think even like next week at Vegas, I'd be very wary of either of these two Kaulig cars because you get to a track where speed matters, where all that stuff really comes into play. I don't know what we're going to get out of them because of that kind of odd relationship that they don't have and do have.
Kaulig using stolen hood ornaments, just like they used to do back in the kids' days, you know, when they're stealing hood ornaments.
There was a team a couple years ago. I don't remember. It's been a handful, quite a few years ago, but they ran in the at the time Xfinity series, and I think they ran something different every week. Like one week they were Chevy, the next week they were Ford. Like they're just like, if you're not going to pay us, we're going to just cycle through everybody, and everybody gets equal love, I guess. So whatever.
Grabbing Nissan there. How's that? We're running Nissan.
Pontiac still approved.
Whatever. Here, we'll take that. All right. I did not know when I opened my book for the first day of 2025 or 2026 rather. Well, I'm seeing in the past 2026 that I would be a Todd Gilliland fan. I think I need to buy myself a Todd Gilliland some sort of memorabilia because he's slowly becoming a guy that I talk about more and more on these shows. And sometimes he gives us good results. Sometimes he doesn't. This week, I'm hoping that he gives us good results. Todd Gilliland, $5,700 for him in this particular race. And look, Todd Gilliland got you 28 points in the fall of last season, which was the 16th best. I'm telling you, he's $5,700 right now. And if you're getting that kind of production out of him, you're getting 28 points out of him. That's a really good day for somebody that's that much, $5,700. Todd Gilliland got you 36 points in the spring of 2025. Todd Gilliland got you 37 points in the fall of 2024. Todd Gilliland got you 41 points in the spring of 2024. So he has been getting it done for the better part of the last couple of seasons, and just one of those DFS guys that at this cheap of a price, you can afford to sort of have him not have a huge day. But as I've read off, he's had several solid days and really good anchor days for a guy at that price. Because if you're digging around toward the bottom of where Todd Gilliland is, like Cody said, you get the Allmendingers, which you can't really trust. You get the Stenhouses, can't trust. Austin Hill, don't want to trust. John Hunter, okay, but lately not so much. Cole Custer, Ty Dillon, which again is Cody made the case for him. Riley Herbst and Cody Ware. Like, I'm not really too high on Zane Smith this week. Not high on Gragson. I know there's a lot of Van Gisbergen truthers out there. Suarez, Jones, Ty Gibbs at $6,400. That tells you all you need to know. So for me, I'm really putting my eggs in the Gilliland basket again, especially for DFS. I don't know that I want to bet on him because top 10's not necessarily something I'm entirely sure that he'll do. But I think he'll have a nice solid run, keep himself, keep the fenders on, and at the end of the day, produce us a solid enough finish to where he'll do well in DFS for you.
Rod's officially a Gilly Gang member, so congratulations on that. And I do think Ty Gibbs is a very solid DFS play this week. Just for the record, I know Rod tried to besmirch, whatever that word is. He tried to besmirch his name, and I won't stand for that in this Ty Gibbs safe space, as we declared earlier.
I can't even deal with it. But all right, there it is. Get out your pen and paper. Go over our DFS plays for this Straight Talk Wireless 500 from the Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. Cody started you off with Christopher Bell at $10,000 as his high price driver. I gave you William Byron in the 24, $10,700. Cody gave you Josh Berry with a side of antihistamine, $7,800 for his mid-tier driver. I gave you Michael McDowell at $6,100 for mine. Cody gave you Ty Dillon as his value driver at $5,000. I said, bang, bang, Gilly Gang, $5,700 as mine. Cody, did all of those fit in one lineup?
Oh, yeah. You got $4,500 left to spend. So, again, as we give this out, we don't have all the information where people are starting. We're trying to do it on tiers to kind of call some certain people out. But, play with that. These are good pieces as you build your different lineups, guys to keep an eye on. But, yeah, I mean, you could sub out one of our cheap guys and trade up to a Tyler Reddick even type of guy, all the way near the top. So, it's, again, building blocks, pieces to use, guys to keep an eye on that we think could have big weeks. But as you get all the information come race day, use it as you will.
Indeed. All right. Well, then we will step away for a half second, come back, and we'll talk some IndyCar after the break. But first, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has got you covered for pick'em for almost every single sport under the sun. Underdog has just increased their payouts as well. 2-pick entries now pay 3.5x, and 3-pick entries now pay 6.5x. Get in there. NASCAR's got theirs up right now. Underdog has got NASCAR projections for this race. Looking right here, Ryan Blaney finishing projection 5.5. If your finger is not broken by hitting the higher, the better than on this one, then I don't know if you're doing it right. So give me Ryan Blaney, higher than, better than 5.5 finishing position. That dude is probably going to end up winning this race. So I 100% think he's going to finish better than 5.5. Thank me later when you do this. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5. Get $75 in bonus fund when you sign up with our promo code RACE, SGPN. We are also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. With Novig, you are getting the best prices out there in the entire world. We've had some fun with NHL lately, fading the Anaheim Ducks, and it seems to have worked. Unfortunately, they're not playing tonight, but I will take another underdog to beat the team that they're playing right now. How about the New York Rangers taking on the LA Kings? New York is the underdog at +117 over on Novig. If you like the Kings, which it's fine, you can. They're -119, but I like the Rangers to beat the LA Kings tonight in hockey. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5. Use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig promo code SGPN. Merch Madness is going on right now in the merch store. Take 15% off of everything in that store with promo code MARCH. Gotta love our hoodies. Gotta love the Racing Gambling Podcast coffee mug that I drink out of every single morning. Get your own and use the promo code MARCH. Get 15% off of everything you order and enjoy.
That's news to me that underdog lines are out, Rod. Those are hot off the press. I just looked 30 minutes ago, and they didn't even have them up yet. So love to see that. You could do the Cody special over on Underdog using that promo code RACESGPN. You can get Carson Hocevar better than 13.5, Christopher Bell better than 4.5, and Ty Gibbs better than 10.5. 9.3 times your payout, Rod. And the maximum out there will let me play on this is $3,008.42. Very specific, but who knows? I might max that out by the end of the weekend.
Or I could just give you my Venmo and you can send me all that $3,000 and you'll get the same result. Absolutely love it. All right.
Such a hater, Rod.
All
All right.
It's not set out to do that, but that's just the way it works, right?
Before we move on from NASCAR, TK did say, I do hope SVG has a good run, though he listed this as a track he struggles at. I'll be honest, TK, sort of secretly, although I'm going to say it out loud, I guess, on the show, I kind of hope he struggles a little bit this week, because then we'll get a really good number on him next week, and he was really good on 1.5 miles at the close of the season last year. I'm not betting him this week, so yeah, I mean, I want to continue to see the guy do well. He's I think improved a ton and will continue to, but I wouldn't hate it if he had a bad week and the books let him slip next week in the top 10 market.
If he doesn't have a good, it's not as if he needs a super solid week to make it into the top. He's done very well for himself in the last couple of weeks now to kind of get his postseason solidified. His postseason.
Yeah, I think he's top 5, I believe, currently. So yeah, been a good start to the year.
It has. Speaking of good starts to the year, IndyCar had a great start to its year, and it will continue that mission on the Phoenix Raceway for the Good Ranchers 250 over there on the Phoenix Raceway. 250 laps for 250 miles around this oval track. Now, as you know, IndyCar really cut its teeth on the street circuits, on the road courses, on all of those ones. They've been taking on ovals forever, but they're primarily a open wheel street and road course racing things. But it's so much fun to watch these guys on oval tracks like Indy, Phoenix, like Iowa, right? Those guys race spectacularly on that. And Phoenix has been one of those tracks that they used to go to. They took a long break. Now that Fox owns them, they're able to start making some of these starts on some of these tracks that they haven't been on in a long time. So, Cody, I'll be excited to watch them back in Phoenix. Not a lot of these guys have experience on Phoenix either because of how long it's been since they've been here.
Yeah, 2018 is the last time that the series has been here, so that's obviously quite a gap, and you've had a lot of new names and faces. Now, of course, some of the guys that have been around for a while have run it previously, and at that time, it was the old configuration. If you don't know about Phoenix, they swapped turns 1 and 2 with turns 3 and 4 a couple years ago, so the track is kind of the opposite of how it was. What was 1 and 2 is now 3 and 4, and obviously the other side, so but these cars will be ripping around here. It'll be a good 40, 50 miles an hour faster than you'll see the Cup Series guys. It's a lot of fun. IndyCar on ovals it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to watch and a ton of fun. So really looking forward to this. Glad they partnered up. A couple of wins here. The past couple of seasons, IndyCar has started off the season, St. Pete, here we go. We're all in. Then we take 3 weeks off, and it was like you lose all the momentum of the first week and the excitement, and here we go. They didn't do that this year. You got 3 consecutive weeks of IndyCar. And next week is the Arlington Grand Prix. They're going to be racing around AT&T Stadium down there in Arlington, so that's exciting. But, yeah, I love these companion races with NASCAR to the first couple of weeks. So really looking forward to this one, Rod.
So am I. All right, well then, since we're looking forward to it so much, let's go ahead and set up this betting card for this IndyCar race.
Let's do it, Rod. I'm going to start with a head-to-head over on Bet365. You can get Josef Newgarden over Alex Palou. Plus 155. This is minus 120, where Josef Newgarden is the favorite in this head-to-head on some other books like Caesar currently. So I absolutely love this because you're getting Newgarden plus 155 over Palou. Now, a couple of years ago, this was a hammer because Josef Newgarden won every oval all the time, nonstop, no matter what. It was like SVG on road courses for NASCAR where you couldn't beat the guy, right? But now that's kind of changed, definitely. Newgarden doesn't win all of them, and it's been a struggle for him the last couple of years. Struggled again last week, but I'm in on him. And the fact that you're getting this at plus 155 over on Bet365, whereas it's minus 120 other places, there's good value there. Palou has gotten a lot better on ovals. He's finally won a couple of them now, defending Indy 500 winner, all that fun stuff, and he's obviously just amazing. But I'm going to ride with Josef Newgarden, who is, Rod, the defending winner of this race back in 2018. Won Nashville last year, second place at Iowa, won at Gateway. So they do race at Gateway. He won there in 2024, which is the most comp track you're going to get for IndyCar. Won the Indy 500 in 23 or 24 rather. Actually won in 23 as well. And he won both Iowa races in 23 and Texas. Really, really good on the ovals. Again, last year was tough, but back in on Newgarden. Plus 155, I think, is a great number. Seth checking in wants to know if there's any Ferrucci love. I've got the opposite of Ferrucci love here in this group. No dig on Ferrucci. I do like the guy. Couldn't find a good way to bet on him, but I'm going to take Christian Lundgaard. Group C over on Bet365, plus 260. This is over. It's Antonio Ferrucci, Marcus Ericsson, and Felix Rosenqvist. Lundgaard, a little bit in, really all these guys kind of inconsistent on ovals. When you get to ovals for IndyCar, the top of the IndyCar oval guys is kind of the guys you see generally, but it's shifted a little bit the last couple of years. Lundgaard's first year with McLaren was last year. That's a much better team than he'd been on previously. 6th at Milwaukee, another shorter, flatter track. 6th at the second Iowa race. 7th in the 500. So some good runs there. Kind of all these guys are a bit inconsistent, but I'm calling my shot on Lundgaard. I said this is his year. He's coming off of a great week last week. I wish I would have saw top fives ever because I would have bet him a top 5, which he did get. But that's okay. We're going to take him to win this group over Ferrucci, Ericsson, and Rosenqvist. That's Group C on Bet365 at plus 260.
Yeah, and again, you can't talk about ovals without talking about Newgarden at all. The Palou thing, I'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. We've got an angle to kind of counter that if it doesn't happen. As far as Lundgaard is concerned, I told you when we got into the studio that I was going to take him somewhere, and I'm glad you did. So absolutely love that. All right, talk about momentum. This is a momentum play if ever there was one. I'm going to take Kyle Kirkwood over Will Power in this one. This is minus 115 over on Caesars, and I know what you're thinking to yourself. You're like, Rod, Will Power is one of the greatest oval drivers in the world. Yes, he absolutely is, but he's not with the same team that he was when he was doing all of that same thing, right? He's not with Penske right now. And even then, like since 2021, Will Power has only got 1 oval win since 2021, 7 top 5s and 9 top 10s, whereas Josef Newgarden, on the other hand, has 9 oval wins, 11 top 5s, 13 top 10s. Even the next best one that Cody will talk about here soon has 2 wins, 13 top 5 finishes, and 15 top 10s. So he's kind of slid out of that best of the oval talk. And for Kyle Kirkwood, he's coming off of a pretty decent season last year where he finished 6th at Nashville on one of the ovals. He won at Gateway, which is an oval race. So he's done well on ovals last year, and I think he's going to continue that same move. He did really well last week in the first race of the season. Almost made me sweat a lot in where my head-to-head with him, Kyle Kirkwood and Scotty Mack. But he did finish 4th last week in his first race of the year. So riding some momentum of a good finish and really a solid run too. This wasn't just I started 4th, I finished 4th. He started 15th and finished 4th, which means he was able to play the right strategies. And again, for a guy that has an oval win already last year, carrying that momentum in this year over a guy who wrecked out in Will Power in his first race with Andretti. Not that they can't get up and lick their wounds again, but I mean, listen, that's got to be a gut punch. And now they're probably going to play a little conservative to try to at least get Will Power to get his bearings back in that team. So I give it to the hot hand. I give it to Kyle Kirkwood. This is minus 115 over on Caesars over Will Power.
Yeah, it's hard to argue too much with this. Kirkwood got his first oval win last year, so that was a big deal. And Andretti, these are both Andretti drivers now. They're good on the ovals. Herta's won an oval a couple years ago as well. And Power's been good there, but like you said, the momentum to kick it off, I think it's hard not to ride with Kirkwood. So, yeah, I'll back you on this one, Rod. For me, we're going to go over to the podium market. I'm going to take Scotty Mack, who you just mentioned a few minutes ago, plus 225 over on the score. I'm also going to take Pato O'Ward, plus 250. You can get that one on Bet 365. For Scotty Mack, last year, 3rd place at Nashville, 3rd place in Milwaukee, 4th place at Iowa. When you think of ovals, I still at least think of Penske cars. A lot of times you'd see him run 1, 2, 3. It'd be Newgarden, it'd be Scotty, it'd be Will Power. Yes, there's some other guys that are kind of in the mix now, but Scotty's coming off of a nice solid run last week, the 2nd place there at St. Pete. Carry that momentum in here. He's a good oval guy. Again, we aren't getting top 5s at least early in the week. We don't have any other options. The top 3, plus 225, I think is a great number. And then for Pato O'Ward, he's a guy I really, really like here in this race, plus 250, another good number. 3rd place in the 500 last year. Won at Iowa as well. A couple of good runs last year on the ovals. 2nd place in the 500 in 2024. 2nd place at Iowa. Won at Milwaukee as well. So good runs by Pato there. So, yeah, those are my podium guys. Scotty Mack, plus 225, and Pato O'Ward, plus 250.
I didn't think I was going to be a Scotty Mack fan as big as I am after one race of the season, but I was very much pulling for him. And when he came through for me, he won my allegiance. And I do call him by the correct name, Scotty Mack, not Scott Dixon, because that's what I happen. So
it happens. Another new face, new name checking in, Ron. Always good to see. Yeah, I don't know.
I would say it's Deborah Reif.
Okay. Hey, Deborah. Good to see you. We'll roll with that.
We'll roll with that. All right. So as I was looking, they were giving us winning car numbers over on Caesars, which is fantastic for me because, I love me a good winning car number bet. I can never pass one up. But I was a little bit perplexed because I didn't know which way to go. If you look, and Cody was with me on the thought process on this one too. I was looking at it, and 10 to 14 is at plus 150. And obviously that gives you Alex Palou. But then past that, it's kind of like, well, it gives you Alex Palou. And you kind of get stopped there. It gives you Malukas. It gives you Will Power. But I already just told you that I'm not really that confident that Will Power can actually win this race. And then Santino Ferrucci as well, which, again, no Ferrucci love. Sorry, Seth. On this one. But so then I just decided to drop down to one of the bigger markets in that one, and that's the 1 through 4. Now, don't get confused because they have 1 through 3 at plus 210, but you can get 1 through 4 at plus 215. It's the same bet. It really just only throws one extra driver in there in Kyle Collette, which you're not necessarily going to want, but it gives
He's
you
irrelevant, but it gives you a better number for some reason.
Listen, that's fine. If he does, and if he actually ends up winning this race, good for him. I don't know. But it gives you Newgarden, it gives you McLaughlin. And obviously, Cody talked a lot about Newgarden and McLaughlin, both of those guys. And I think it's a very good case for both of them. They're both two of the better oval racers, rather, in the sport right now. And, if you're getting a little more action on Josef Newgarden, it doesn't hurt. And then to open it up and get Scott McLaughlin on top of that, especially at plus 215, just a little over 2 times your money. I'll take that all day long. And for me, this is a hedge against Palou and gives you 2 good drivers. And you can do, you can mix and match this however you want. But I do like the winning car number 1 through 4 at plus 215 over on Caesars.
Yeah, like it. No argument because, I've got Josef Newgarden winning this race, Rod. The Oval King. I gave him out last week. We didn't quite get there. But he looked, bad qualifying effort, but he looked good running through the race, came up through the field. One more shot. If he doesn't win this week, I'm going to have to find my way off of Newgarden. I was on him, unfortunately, too much last year, but he's the king of the ovals. I still think he's the best driver when you come to ovals. Yes, a lot of the field is caught up, as we've maybe now seen with SVG. I don't know. We'll figure that out later, but he's still the guy for me. I'm going to take him plus 350 on Bet365. Best number that I saw out there. He has been amazing on the ovals as you go back through the years. Most previous winner here in 2018, so we'll take that with the win there. Won at Nashville last year, second place at the Iowa race. Won at Gateway, the comp track in 24, the Indy 500. I mentioned all that before. You can go back, oval win, oval win, oval win, oval win. He has a lot of them. He's been the king of the ovals. I think the king returns to take his crown back this week, Rod. Give me Josef Newgarden at plus 350. And then give me Pato O'Ward at 8-1. I talked about him to finish on the podium a couple of minutes ago, but he's a guy that at 8-1, you're getting a little bit of a longer shot. In IndyCar betting, at least from my observation, when you come to an oval, it's a pretty small field of guys who can actually really win. You'll get some upsets every now and then. A guy like a Kirkwood was certainly a longer shot when he won and that. But, the street courses tend to be where you get more longer shot winners, stuff like that. The ovals, it's guys at the top of the board. So who can I get near the top of the board that has a really good shot but gives me a good number? And that's Pato O'Ward at the 8-1 number. Second place at Worldwide Technology last year. Very comparable track, very close to this. He also got a win at Iowa in the first race there. Third place in the 500. You love to see those. And then, of course, he won at the Milwaukee Mile, which is another short flat track in 2024 in the first one of the doubleheader there. Second at Iowa, second at the Indy 500 that year. And he's been a very good oval guy, most popular guy in IndyCar. So we'll see if he can find his way to victory lane. But I feel like at plus 800, he's a great insurance play if the king, Newgarden, doesn't grab his crown back this week, Rob.
Josef Newgarden. Again, one of those guys that you 100% love his commercials on the Fox.
Both of them, yeah. But Newgarden, he's just takes a bite out of the heart while he's standing there. And then Pato O'Ward just racing the garbage truck through the city. It's beautiful.
It very much is beautiful. All right. So for me, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we talk a lot about F1 and how they used to price their Max Verstappen and really just cover their asses on Max Verstappen, putting him pretty much unbettable to win a race because that's all he ever does. But boy, I got to tell you, man, Alex Palou, you're still getting him at plus 250 on Bet365 to win this race. Like how can you not still take Alex Palou at plus 250 to win this race? I mean, the dude had only 4 races last season where he didn't finish on the podium. 4 out of 17 races. He was not one of the top 3 cars. He got a win at Indy, right? That big win in the Indianapolis 500 last year. And then he followed it up with a win at Iowa, a second place at Milwaukee, a second place at Nashville. He's going to be in the mix. It may be boring to hear. It may be boring to say, but if it's boring winning money and when Alex Palou wins a race, then you are not listening to the right show, because this guy just does that. He won 8 races last year. His average finish was 4.1. You know, I feel like if you know anything about IndyCar, and even if you don't know anything about IndyCar, the name Alex Palou should ring a bell. And if he's 2.5 to 1 to win the race, which is something he can do and has done several times over, you jump on that and you figure out a way to make the rest of the card work around it. Because, you know, like Cody said, Josef Newgarden at plus 350 is a gigantic misprice. But boy, if you're giving me the reigning champion, if you're giving me the guy who just won the last race last week, right? Still riding the momentum. He's not taking 3 weeks off and then coming back to an oval. He's coming right back to a race at 2.5 to 1. I'll take it and I will not look back. So, but if he doesn't do it, then I'm going to take Scott Dixon, because Scott Dixon is another one of those guys. I just talked about his road course or his oval prowess rather. He has 2 oval wins since 2021, 10 top 5 finishes and 14 top 10 finishes. Scott Dixon just did not have a good race overall last week. And you know, I don't hold that against him. That's not indicative of the way that he actually is as a race car driver. Got caught up in something very early on and didn't get a chance to really come back from it. So I think he comes back and does well at a track that he's pretty good at as well. He's actually got some experience on this track, but yeah, Scott Dixon 14 to 1 to actually win this race is something that I don't feel like is completely and 1000% out of the realm of possibility. And yes, I know that I'm giving out Scott Dixon instead of Scotty Mack. So don't at me on that one. Gotta love it. But yeah, like I said, he does have a little bit of experience on this track, and I'm looking for him to turn it around.
Yeah, I think these are 2 good picks. Obviously, the Palou thing, I argued with you last week. I was wrong. You were right. So I'm not going to argue with you this week. He's much, much improved on the ovals. That was kind of his one knock that he couldn't do, right? You think of Larson, like, what can he not do? It's the super speedways, getting better at them. Palou got better at the ovals and started to win some. So, yeah, watch out to everybody else. And then Dixon, if this turns into a fuel mileage race, you could see IndyCar, if you're not familiar, they don't do stages. They don't do any of that stuff. So you often see fuel mileage races. Nobody's better at saving fuel than Scott Dixon over there in that number 9 Chip Ganassi car.
6 starts for him on this track, a second place finish in 2004, 1 in 2016, 5th and 4th in his final 2 starts on this track. So front runner here. And I think he's going to do it again this week, barring any sort of major catastrophes. So, all right, get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over our bets for this Good Ranchers 250, the IndyCar race from Phoenix. Cody started you off with Josef Newgarden over Alex Palou, plus 155 over on Bet365, taking Christian Lundgaard as the winner of Group C, plus 260 over. Oh, there's look at me. All right, Cody started you off with, wow, here we go. Where are we at, Cody?
Which one is it, Rod? Pick one.
All right, pull mine back up again. This is rehearsed, I promise. All right, Kirkwood over Willpower at minus 115. Scott Dixon is not a top 3. This is not the right one, Cody. You got to pull that down now.
Damn it. What did I do? I got the wrong ones. Know. Whatever. You just recap. We'll move on.
We'll move on. All right. So we got Kyle Kirkwood over Willpower, minus 115 over at Caesars. That was my second pick. Cody gave you Scotty Mack to be a podium finisher at plus 225 over on the Score. Gave you Pato Award to be a podium finisher at plus 250. I gave you the winning car number between 1 and 4 at plus 215 on Caesars. Cody said Josef Newgarden would be one of those cars at Bet365. Pato Award at 8 to 1 over on Bet365. I said Alex Palou would be my winner at plus 250, and then Scott Dixon at 14 to 1 would be the winner of this race. All right, Cody, we'll do it.
Mine was right. Sorry.
It's okay. The intern's fired. That's all there is to it.
Yeah,
it's the last show of the week, Cody. It's okay for us to do.
Yeah, it happens, but oh well. So King checking in, Says he's going to take Alex Bowman this weekend. Probably will score you as many points as he scored me last week when I played him in the one and done. So there you go.
0. Big 0.
Big
But,
fucking
all right.
nothing. But oh well. All right, let's get out of here, Rod. Great week. Going to be a fun weekend of racing. Looking forward to it. Of course, we talked F1 yesterday. Make sure you go back and check that out. In addition to the O'Reilly Series picks, of course, and the Cup Series picks on Tuesday also. So we have got 4 really great races this weekend on tap. Looking forward to it. And yeah, we'll be back with the live reaction call-in show, Rod. I'm going to say call-in because we're going to make sure that that's working. So, yeah. Danny V checking in says parlayed outright, or Palou outright, parlayed, same thing, with Blaney outright. Oh, that's interesting. I'm a Newgarden Bell guy myself. I might have to try that, actually. That sounds pretty good. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Follow me, Rod, on the X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff over there. Follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling. Subscribe to the YouTube. Click the bell. All the fun stuff the kids say. And yeah, see you guys for the recap.
Indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. You can find me and everything that I'm up to on there. If you're listening to this, we're just under 3 hours away now from Free Practice 1 from Australia. So make sure you are checking that out as well for F1. All right. We'll see you guys next week for the recap show. Hopefully, like we said, we've got this Discord thing figured out, and we'll get your phone calls and listen to your beautiful voices, Preston. I'm looking at you. But yeah, we'll take care of all of that stuff. All right, guys, join us in our never-ending quest to make NASCAR betting fun again. Let's go racing and let it ride.